I like this movie. War for the Planet of the Apes is directed yet again by Matt Reeves. He directed the second film, not the first film, but the second one and this third one here. He has made a complete storyline from the first one to the third one. This is a trilogy of movies now that I didn't ever see myself loving. Planet of the Apes movies, you know, the old ones, I never cared about those movies. I never saw any of those movies. I didn't care less about those stupid movies. And when the new one came out, the very first one, I was like, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. And then I heard Andy Serkis was being the ape, which I love. Andy Serkis, in case you don't know, he plays Gollum, he plays King Kong, and he plays Caesar in these Planet of the Apes movies. And so I was a little bit intrigued by him because I knew he was great in the motion capture roles. And the trailers looked pretty exciting. I like James Franco, and I ended up loving that movie. Coming into the second movie, I was even more so blown away by that movie. So going into this movie, let me just say, I was hyped. I was ready for this movie. I was ready for the ending of this trilogy that has been amazing up to this point. And I was just, my biggest fear is that it just wouldn't be at the level that the other two were at. And I'm going to get this out right of the way. This is probably one of the best trilogies we probably have at this point in movie history. There's Lord of the Rings, which is my favorite movies of all time. Then there's, you know, Back to the Future movies. There's a lot of great trilogies out there, but it has to be near the top at this point. The Planet of the Apes, these new movies are like nothing that I've ever seen in any other movie. I mean, it's a movie about apes, and somehow, as a human being, you root for apes. That is such great just storytelling that you were compelled as a human being to root for the other side. And it's not like the humans are the bad people. I don't think humans are ever portrayed as bad people in these movies, but it's just that you side with the apes because of what they're going through, and you know Caesar, and it's just the development of the characters that have gone into these movies is just astonishing. And I don't want to just go on and on about this movie, about how much I love it, because obviously I do. I love this movie so much, and I don't want to go on and on about, oh, the performance is great, because obviously the performances are great. Andy Serkis is amazing in everything that he possibly does. The special effects are top-notch like you wouldn't believe. The directing is amazing. I don't want to just say those things and, you know, keep going on and on about, oh, how great this movie is. I want to really tell you why I think it's so amazing. And there's a few things that I really loved about it. The first being the character of Caesar. And his arc, from the very first movie to this movie, it is one story. So, like, when I think about the Lord of the Rings, and I say that Lord of the Rings are my favorite movies of all time, I include that as just one story. And now I could do that with the Planet of the Apes movies. I could say, yeah, I love Planet of the Apes. And people are going to be like, oh, which one? It's just one movie to me. It's just one complete story. And the way that Andy Serkis has just made this character, and the way that he's grown, and the way that he grows in this movie alone, he goes through so many emotions, he ups and downs. The character of Caesar is one of the best characters in movie histories, in my opinion. And the way that everything goes in this movie, it kept me on the edge of my seat. I didn't know it was going to happen. I was very surprised. And that's another thing. Here's another plus, is I didn't know what was going to happen with this movie. It's a long movie, and there's a lot of stuff that happens with it. And while you're watching, you're like, man, there's a lot of different things happening. Like, you may be a little bit confused along the way. But I'm glad that I waited a day or two to review this movie, because I've had time to think about it, and everything that happens in the movie, I don't remember every single detail, but there's so many parts that stand out. And so now, when I go back to watch this movie, there's going to be parts that I'm going to be looking forward to, but there's going to be so many extra parts that I'm like, oh man, I completely forgot about this great part, and it's going to mean more to me. So the fact that the movie's long and detailed, and it has things throughout of it that are like engaging, I can't wait to see that again. And that's something that this movie just does so well, is just, it tells such a compelling story from start to finish, and you're engaged the whole time. It introduces new characters. The character of Bad Ape is, like, besides Caesar, he might be my favorite character now in all these ape movies. I loved him so much. He was the comic relief of the movie, and he just hit it at every single point. He was never over the top. He was never too much. He always hit right in the right spots, and he was just a perfect character in this movie, a great addition. And obviously all the supporting cast, everybody did a great job. But another thing that I really want to mention is the soundtrack to this movie. Not the soundtrack, the score is so emotional. It gets you so much into this movie. You care every single time anything happens, because not only the portrayal of the actors and like what's going on screen, but because of the music around it. And it just gets you so just clenched in, and it digs into your bones, and like you feel the moment. You see the moment and you feel it. And there's a lot of moments in this movie where you are like emotionally impacted, and this movie is no exception. It hits deep to the core of this movie, and there's several scenes in it where you might need to bring some tissues. This is an amazing conclusion to one of the best trilogies we have today. I absolutely love this movie. Obviously, I go 5 out of 5 for War of the Planet of the Apes. The entire trilogy is 5 out of 5 for me, in my opinion. I think that it is a perfect trilogy. I can't wait to sit down and watch every single one back to back, and then see this whole story unfold. It's a movie now that I could say is one of my favorite movies. I don't have to just be like, oh yeah, I love the Planet of the Apes movies. I just be like, oh yeah, what are your favorite movies? Lord of the Rings, Planet of the Apes. And I don't have to say anything else, because those movies, these stories are just so much just one story, and it's so well told. And I'm so happy that it all worked out, because I was so excited seeing that first one, and then super excited the second one. I'm just so happy that it all came together and made an amazing trilogy. I really hope that you guys check out War of the Planet of the Apes. It is definitely worth seeing. One of the best movies, probably my favorite movie of the year so far. We got Dunkirk next week. I'm super excited for that. I'm hoping that lives up to expectations. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this and you want to see more reviews from a guy like me, Tom Waterloo, then please like and share this video, leave a comment down below, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.